Hey Docker fans, this course roadmap will talk about what you'll be learning and doing in the course sections. If you're a beginner, each section builds on the last, and rather than going through the features, we do a lot of scenario-based work where you'll have assignments to use Docker as maybe a developer would, or an operator, or maybe a tech support troubleshooter, so if you can better understand the whys of specific Docker features. If you're beyond the basics, then I encourage you to look for lectures around the issues you're trying to solve right now, and then later you should review topics you're familiar with that might teach you some tricks or best practices that I sprinkle in along the way. The first section is about getting Docker installed and what to do if you can't actually use Docker locally. Then we go through other tools like text editors and terminal tools that make Docker easier to use. And we also talk about the GitHub repository for this course that you'll need to make sure you download before you get started. The next section is where you get to start using the basics of understanding containers. We learn how to manage, create, destroy containers, how they're totally not like a VM, they're actually more like a process. You'll get to create a shell connection into containers and understand what's going on inside them. And then you'll learn the basics of Docker networking on your local machine. After that, in the next section, you'll learn the ins and outs of images and how to download and use them from Docker Hub, how to create Docker file recipes. You'll customize and upload images back to Docker Hub. You'll practice running Docker builds, and you'll extend official images with your own tweaks. The section after that is where you get to learn some of the options for dealing with persistent data, which is that kind of data that you need to keep around and protect like databases. You'll need to understand the lifetime of a container, so we'll go through that and how best to design your container solution for easier data management. What Docker volumes are and how you should use them is in there, and then we talk about bind mounting and how to use Docker for local development. Then I have a section where I go beyond dealing with the single container and you learn Docker Compose for multi-container automation. You'll learn when and when not to use Compose, how to design Compose files, and how to build images and edit code easily with Compose. The next section is a big one, where you put your ops hat on and you build a Docker swarm. You'll see how easy it is to build a 3-node swarm cluster, and you'll learn about networking overlay, multi-host networking, and how the routing mesh works for routing packets coming into your network. And then you'll create some swarm services for high availability containers. Then you'll create stacks for production grade Compose file deploys. Next, you'll actually improve security by moving your config values into secrets and how to deploy those secrets into your swarm. And finally, you'll get to see an example of how to use Compose files for a full app lifecycle, including local development, CI testing, and deployment to a production swarm, all with one set of Compose. I'm excited for you to get started, and remember to reach out anytime in the QA, via the Udemy messages, or via the private Slack team that the course comes with.